afterwards, and at the end there'll be a few minutes for questions, right?
Right, B'ezrat Hashem.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It's nice to be here. So, like I promised, I'll tell some jokes to light up the situation. Some of you have heard these jokes already, but for the guys who haven't heard them, so let them laugh, okay? Fine. So there was a Baal Tshuva, an Israeli Baal Tshuva, who got engaged, and his family wanted to disown him. They didn't want him anymore. They didn't help him for the wedding, so he realized he's on his own, and he has to go to America to Schnorr, to collect tzedakah. And he doesn't know how to do this. He goes to his Rosh Hashiva and says, how do I do what's with me collecting I don't know how to do this. What am I supposed to do? Man yaseh. So Rosh Hashiva says, Ein baya, there's no problem. It's very simple. You're going to go to just three places. You're going to go to Lakewood, you're going to go to Borough Park, Williamsburg, and go to 5 towns. Okay? You get to Lakewood, you say, I'm a descendant of the Vilna Gaon. You go to Borough Park, Williamsburg, you say, I'm a descendant of Baal Shem Tov. You go to 5 towns where it's more modern Orthodox, young Israel, you say, I'm a Ger Tzedek, I'm a convert. Okay? So he reserves his Israeli driver. Okay, no problem, I can pick you up. Newark Airport, he gets his ticket to Newark. The driver says, no time, I take you Crown Heights. He said, Crown Heights, makara. He said, no, I need money, you need money, there's no time. Afterwards we do Lakewood and Crown. I don't know, he wasn't prepared for Crown Heights. As Rav told him, clear instructions, Lakewood, Borough Park, Williamsburg, and 5 towns. What's this Crown Heights? So, man yaseh, what am I going to do? He says, you do, taseh ma shosim, get out of the car, knock on the door, and ask for tzedakah. So he really doesn't know what to do, what to say. He knocks on the door, and the Lubavitcher opens the door with the Hasidic kapota, the Litvish hat, and the glow-in-the-dark Yechia Donenu glittering kippah. So he doesn't know what to say. He says, listen, on my father's side, I'm a descendant of the Baal Shem Tov. On my mother's side, I'm a descendant of the Vilna Gaon, and I'm a Ger Tzedek. Okay, that was the lighten up then. This class is going to be totally different than what I normally do. I'm normally in these past 3.5 years giving everything to help people to connect to Rabbi Nachman's lesson, the Kutei Moran lesson 24, which is a life changer. It's saving my life. It's changing my life. And everyone I give it over to, they see also that this is something very powerful. Rav Nosson himself invested a lot on this lesson because he saw that simcha is a key for everything else. Like the pasuk says, ki besimcha tetzeu. With joy you get out. Get out of what? Out of anything you're stuck in life. That's a very powerful message. But in this class, since you guys are in the Breslov Yeshiva, I want to share with you my experience in our Breslov Yeshiva in Toronto, what I did. You can pick up some pointers, and from there I would just like to develop some pointers. I'll tell you a little bit about me. So I discovered Breslov, it's or Rabbi Nachman found me, or I found Rabbi Nachman. I don't know how it works still today. In 1989, I was searching, 16 years old. I was really searching. I felt very empty. My Yiddishkeit was just Charlton Heston and the 10 Commandments and the jazz singer. There wasn't that much for people like me at the time who were searching. I got into NCSY, I got into Bnei Kiva, fine, but I felt very, very, very empty. And Baruch Hashem, I met my Rav. He's still alive. He's 90 years old. Rabbi Moshe Levi. He's a Sephardi Moroccan rabbi who was now he's no longer, was an undercover Breslover. Now he's on undercover. He's full force Breslover. So he, Baruch Hashem, took me under his wings, and it was a time when I was looking for a yeshiva. I was 16 years old. I was in a co-ed Jewish high school system in Toronto. I wasn't happy at all. So then I went to Skokie Yeshiva. Okay, so I graduated Skokie, and I faced a lot of opposition because I was into Breslov at the time then. But they said, what does he know anyways? There's a young Sephardi guy, I'm Sephardi. Hey, what does he know? So they didn't take me seriously. But I came in, I started introducing the Breslov books, Tikkun Akali. Okay, so I had a lot of, the rabbis weren't so happy, this and that. There's one rabbi, for example, he was the one who gave the okay, it's like the mashgiach, to give the okay for me to come to the yeshiva. What happened was, on the first day I arrived in the yeshiva, I took the top Bachur of the yeshiva, the ones who greeted me. And in yeshiva, the first question they asked me is, you play ball? I said no, and that's the last I heard of these guys. They didn't talk to me afterwards. I said, I don't play ball. I'm the ball, but I don't play ball. Okay, so the good Bachim, they said, hi, how are you? And I sat with them, and I told them about the Tikkun Akali and what it's for Pgam Brit. So the Mashgiach heard that. The next day he called me and he said, what are you bringing into our yeshiva? What are you bringing to our yeshiva? I said, what do you mean? Everybody has this problem. All these Bachim have these problems, and they need this. What are you talking about? Okay? That same rabbi who was, so now things have changed. His son became a Breslover. And last year, his son, who I guess he's well off a little, he made Rabbi Nachman's Hilula yahrzeit in his sukkah. And in the video, you see this rabbi, the father, was the one who told me he's serving the people the food for Rabbi Nachman's yahrzeit Seuda, okay? Things switched. I'm just cracking up, okay? And the principal, he lost his wife, and he remarried a woman whose brother's a Breslover. So, like, I'm just saying it's funny what happened, how things changed. In any event, so in 1991, we graduated in Yeshiva High School, and my parents were hit. It was a really bad year. It was a big recession. My parents lost everything. They had businesses. They lost everything. And my mother was crying. She said, I can't send you to Eretz Yisrael. I don't have the money to send you to Eretz Yisrael. So Rabbi Levi says, okay, so let's start a Breslov Yeshiva here in Toronto. So we opened a Breslov Yeshiva called Nachal Yisrael. Nachal, that's Rabbi Nachman, Nachal Novea. And Yisrael, because we're Sephardi Moroccans, it was Baba Sali, Yisrael Abu Chatzera. So Nachal Yisrael is a nice combo, okay? So Rabbi Levi was tough with me like a ruler. He was really tough on me. And I guess this is not for you guys to necessarily pick up, but for me, that's what I needed at the time. He said to me, for now, you don't touch Gemara until you get a strong foundation in the basics of the Torah. For 5 years, he didn't let me go into Gemara until I was based solid in Chumash Rashi, Mishnayos, Halacha back then, even Mishnah Berurah I didn't learn yet. I was basics. Kitzur Shulchan Aruch is for Ashkenazim. What do we have? We had Ben Ishchai. That was what I was learning. So I was learning Ben Ishchai, Mishnah of Art Scroll, Chumash Rashi of Art Scroll. Okay, everything is transliterated and also translation. So Hebrew, English, Hebrew. That's how I picked up Hebrew, by the way. I'm a typical North American guy, but picking up Hebrew came from articulating and enunciating the words out loud. That's what the Gemara says in Eruvin. Bruya, the wife of Rabbi Meir Balanes, you know, the famous Gemara. She saw one of his students learning Gemara quietly, learning Torah quietly. She kicked him in the leg. She says, raise your voice. Because it says, Chaim hem lemotzeem. The Torah is life to those who find it. So she said, don't read those who find it. Rather read it, Chaim hem lemotzeehem bapeh. The Torah is an elixir of life to those who articulate the Torah. When you enunciate and read out loud, you will pick up the language like this. It's unbelievable what happened to me. I can't believe it. How picking up Hebrew, like you see all these American guys, shalom, ata yodea, erfo, hani olech. They're here like so many years. They know how to read Gemara inside out, but they can't speak Hebrew to the guys in the street. Why not? It's technically Lashon HaKodesh. You should be able to speak the language if you're reading now Mishnayot and Gemara and everything, fine? So when you articulate and enunciate, you begin to pick up the language very fast. It's amazing, okay? So he put me on a strict diet, like I said. Of 5 years, no touching Gemara, okay? Because he wanted me to have a firm basis, like I said. And I was following, by the way, and this book I really recommend to everybody. The book that really brought me into Breslov was Crossing the Narrow Bridge. This is a book, I think anyone who speaks English, is from a North American English-speaking background, should read the book from cover to cover a few times. He also has, Rav Chaim Kramer, who wrote the book after years of experience in Breslov, in learning Torah, with also many Baal Tshuvas and people beginning. He gives a good structured way of learning Torah. I followed it. I did everything based on what he said in the book. It fit in also for what Rabbi Levi in Toronto was giving me. And I was very happy about that. His basic thing is start with the basics in Torah and then you'll build high. Start with the basics. Learn Mishnayot with the commentaries, Chumash Rashi, build a firm background, and then you'll be able to tackle the Gemara like that, like cheese. It'll come like easy, like butter, bread and butter. It'll be so easy to learn B'ezrat Hashem, okay? Huh? Tanakh, of course, also. I forgot, sorry. All the basics. Tanakh, we were learning Tanakh, believe it or not, with Rabbi Rosenfeld's cassettes. Rabbi Rosenfeld, you should get a hold of his audio classes on the Gemara and on the Nach. It's just absolutely amazing because he brings you all the background information you need from the Gemara, from the Midrash, from the Zohar, from the Kitvei Ari, and from Chassidut. So you have the parak on Shimshon, Amnon, Tamar, all these funny stories in the Tanakh. You have no idea what's flying. But with Rabbi Rosenfeld in the background, you get a whole picture. At Chavruta, we learn a chapter in Tanakh, and then we listen to Rabbi Rosenfeld's recording on that section, Baruch Hashem. That was amazing. Okay? So I was all alone, though. You guys have friends. You guys are together. I was just one Bachur. Back then, for Shidduchim, 1990s, there was nothing lower than someone being Sephardi and a Breslover. Okay, if you're Sephardi, the Sephardim don't want. If you're a Sephardi, they don't want you because you're Breslov. And now if you're the Ashkenazim, the Hasidim, they want you because you're Sephardi, so you're stuck. It was really a big mess up to finally get married. It was a miracle, an absolute miracle. but all alone and having to try to figure out things on my own. What I used to help me and to build me a structure was Rav Yitzchak Breider's Seder Hayom. In English, it's called A Day in the Life of a Breslover Chassid. There's 27 points there, I think 27, and I did like a checklist every day. Some of them is like once a year, like Rosh Hashanah by the Tzaddik, that's once a year. Eretz Yisrael, you have to go to Eretz Yisrael to be in Eretz Yisrael. But the other things of learning mikveh, hitbodedut, chatzot, so that was my schedule. I used that as my checklist to make sure that in the day, everything was covered. Even tzedakah, there's about tzedakah to giving to printing Breslov books. We had in Toronto, we had kupat tzedakahs. One is for supporting the Breslover Hasidim, the poor Breslovers in Eretz Yisrael. One was for printing the Breslov publications. So we had several pushkas. So when the Breslovers would come to Toronto collecting, I had money ready to give to them for various causes, Baruch Hashem. So this book helped a lot. This book, A Day in the Life of Breslover Hasid, if now you're looking for a schedule to build you, because you obviously when you're in yeshiva, you need a seder. If you don't have a seder in life, you won't be able to advance. Person who's like one day, hey man, how you doing? Another day he wakes up like this, and one day like that. And I know how it is, right? I know, okay? I know. But in order to advance, you really have to make a commitment and make a seder, at least one that you can do. If it's too much, fine, so you do at your level. But a seder is what's gonna build you, because what is a seder? A seder is a constriction. It's a kli, it's a cup, okay? Once you build a cup, then you have where to put the light in. Breslov is all about light. We call Breslov light, right? Breslov light is a lot of orot and light. You have a joke. How many Breslovers does it take to change a light bulb? None. The light never went out. Okay? All right? Right? So light there is. We're not lacking light in Breslov. Not orot. They talk about these terminology. Orot, the guy's he's flying on projectors and lights and everything. That's no problem in Breslov. What's needed is vessels for this light. And the best vessel is the person who has a seder. He gets up in the morning, mikveh, goes to davin, hitbodedut, halacha, eventually Rabbeinu Tam tefillin, all these things, Baruch Hashem, which are like basics to be in the fold. And then what happens is, Rabbeinu, he starts giving you the light. That's in Breslov. And you have vessels to take it in and not to smash in the crash. Because most people, they get this light and they crash afterwards because they don't have vessels for it. But whereas when a person builds a seder, so then he can contain the light. He's not too rigid, but he's not too much light. It's a balance. It's a balance of I have my seder, I have to be on time, this and that. But at the same time, I don't go too crazy like, I do things with a balance that then I'm ready to receive, and I want to receive the light in the seder that I built. So that's very important for that, okay? So this book helped a lot. The second thing that really opened up for me, and this is what I share with other people, is we had a guest visitor who would come to Toronto maybe twice a year. His name is Avram Yifrach. He's a French Breslover. Back then, there was a community of Breslover Hasidim in France, in a city called Aix-les-Bains. And these guys, under a rabbi who people know today, his name is Rabbi Yitzchak Besançon. He's the one who's on this project of getting people to learn the Likutei Moharan in depth. So they developed a whole community in France where they learned together inside Likutei Moharan deeply, okay? And me, a beginner, not knowing anything about this or how this works, so this Avram Yifrach, who was part of this Keilah, he would come to us, and once he sat down with me and this Rabbi Levi, and he gave it to us. He sat with us carefully. We went over Rav Noson's introduction to the Likutei Moharan, which is the key to all the Likutei Moharan, by the way. Something amazing there. And I just want to go off to tell you a story that happened regarding this introduction. The introduction to the Likutei Moharan is something that you should go over a few times, okay? I was here on Shidduchim. Like I said, no one wants to marry me because I'm Breslov and I'm Sephardi, and I was a Bachur here in Eretz Yisrael also. Eventually, Rabbi Levi, he said, it's not working in Canada, so go to Eretz Yisrael. He kicked me out of Canada. Go find your Shidduch in Eretz Yisrael. Go daven by the Kotel. Go by Kibbutz Tzadikim. That's what I did. And Baruch Hashem, I did 40 days by the Kotel, by the way. And after 40 days, I got my Shidduch, by the way. Yes, I'm proof that the 40-day davening thing does work, Baruch Hashem. Okay? So, so while here, I was getting all types of shidduchim. I got the 7 beggars. A girl who couldn't hear, a girl who couldn't see, a stutterer. I got all the 7 beggars. Okay, they gave me, this girl, she can't talk. This. It was funny. I had a fun time, okay? So in my journey to find my shidduch, I was suggested a very respectable girl from South Africa who was learning here in Neve, in Harnof, okay? And she came from a very Litvish background, and Neve probably still is very Litvish. Back then it was anti-Breslov even. And she was very interested Rav Nosson Maimon set up the shidduch because by them for Shabbos, and Rav Nosson Maimon was able to introduce a very beautiful side of Breslov to this girl that she never knew about, and she was very amazed. And that's how the shidduch started. All the shidduchim was talking about hashkafa, hitbodedut, simcha, all over Nachman's teaching. I think we're meeting just for me to teach her about Breslov. That was the meaning of shidduchim. Instead of a shidduch, instead of what do you like to eat, what type of car do you want, whatever house you want, we're talking about Breslov the whole time, okay? And it was getting serious after 3 meetings. She said, I want you to meet the Rosh Hashiva before we continue, which is like the next serious stage, because I was already ready to get married. And I said, I don't want this wasting time of dating. Some of you dates, eventually you bring dates to the dates because you're going so many dating. Want some dates? Okay, it's just getting too much. So after 3, I said, listen, I'm serious to continue. If you want to continue, it's on condition that we're going to get married. She said, okay, I want you to meet my Rosh Hashiva. I come to him here in Yerushalayim, in Harnof. I don't know his name, Katzen on the Boygen. I just get in and he starts attacking Breslov. Attacking. They're nuts, they're this. And then he says, you think I don't know about Breslov? I know about Breslov. And he goes to his bookshelf, tons of Svarim, of course, he's a Rosh Hashiva. And he pulls out a Likutei Moran. And he says, I have this book, but you can't understand what he's saying. He opens up lesson number 4, where Rabbi Nachman talks about confession in front of a tzaddik, in front of a Talmid Chacham. He says, doesn't this sound to you like Christianity? What is this confession business? I got fed up, and I don't know where I got the strength from. I opened Rav Nosson's introduction to Likutei Moran, where 4 times Rav Nosson says in the introduction, someone who's not looking for the truth, lo yo'ilu dvarim elu. Someone who's not looking for the truth, the words in this book won't help that person. I showed him that. That's chutzpah. I showed him, I said, listen, I'm not leaving from my life Breslov. If now, to continue with this girl, I have to leave Breslov, so tell her it's over. And it was over, Baruch Hashem. It went over, and Baruch Hashem, I met my sherbert elsewhere in Canada, Baruch Hashem. Sherbert, b'shert, okay? But now, going back to Avram Rifach, he sat down with us, and he showed us, in the introduction, Rav Nosson writes, how everything's in this one book. Everything you'll need in your life is in this one sefer, and the more you learn it, the more you activate it in your life. And then he showed us what's called the 18 rules of how to learn the Likutei Moran in depth, and that blew me away. Especially the one rule there is that the more you learn, the more you touch Likutei Moran, the more you begin to activate it in your life. Now that's true with all the Torah. The more you learn Gemara, Mishnayot, the Torah becomes alive for you. That's true. But with Breslov, it's on speed, multiplied by 20,000 at least. That the more you go into a lesson and teachings of Rabbeinu, the more you begin to see it alive in your life. So this really clicked to me, and it's something amazing. And I started as a Bachur already, before getting married, working all alone in Toronto, no one to speak to, nobody, just the BRI books, whatever was out back then in the early 90s. There wasn't, the Likutei Moran wasn't finished yet. The books were beginning to go out now. B'nai Nara, there's so many books in all languages, especially in Hebrew, but tons of Svarim in Breslov. It's not an orphan. This generation, Baruch Hashem, you have what to learn from, okay? So I had to develop and work on and go into and see how this works. And Baruch Hashem, the lessons of the Likutei Moran became alive. And it took over 30 years to develop ways how to share this with other people. It's one thing that I'm on a high, and I'm having this amazing experience, waking up at midnight in the freezing Canadian winter, and with the boots and the winter coat, and with a Walkman. We had back then the Walkman, before what you guys have, whatever, Bluetooth. So I had Walkman with the cassettes, before the CDs even, going into the forest with freezing cold at midnight, all alone, and with a little Breslov book, and with a little flashlight, and reading it, davening it, Rav Nosson's prayer, connecting to Hashem. This was Gan Eden. Nothing in the world compared to this. And I was saying to myself, how do we get the rest of the world to taste this experience, to taste this amazing feeling? So, Baruch Hashem, over time and time, things have been moving more and more and more. And Baruch Hashem, we started this thing called breslov-therapy in order to try to help people to realize that everything they need in their life to get healed, physically, spiritually, mentally, can be found in Rabbi Nachman's teachings. And it works, Baruch Hashem. So this, in a nutshell, is where I'm coming from, Baruch Hashem, okay? And I give a big emphasis to people, get into Rabbeinu's Svarim, go inside, take time to learn them, but also have a general study. That's schedule. That's why I suggested Crossing the Narrow Bridge is an amazing book to get the general picture of Breslov. Too Far in Water, another amazing book. Too Far in Water will give you a living example of what Breslov is on a real life level. You see Rav Nosson, what he did, where he came from, what he was looking for, what Rabbi Nachman did to his life, and after he passed on, how he saw as his mission to get this out to the rest of the world. It can't be that Breslov was just for some little Hasidic group in eastern Ukraine and that's it. It can't be. Rav Nosson saw that everyone needs this. Everyone in the world needs to hear this stuff. It was like, this is our lifesaver. And he made it his life mission to get as maximum as he could the word out. And Baruch Hashem, you see that Breslov has continued for over 200 years already. And the flame is going on. And there's no living Rebbe. Yet Rabbi Nachman is alive to his teachings, to his Kever and Uman, to his Hasidim. It's a movement with momentum and so much strength. Whew. Okay, this is what I wanted to get through, the point. Visit Hashem. And I really encourage, especially guys, if you're a Bachur, why is a Bachur called a Bachur? What's the root for Bachur? Bet, Chet, Resh. Why? Because the choicest time of your life that you can choose how the rest of your life will develop is when you're a Bachur. How you build yourself up before getting married will give you the direction for the rest of your life. Because of that, while you're still a Bachur, you should take advantage to invest in the maximum that you can to find the right direction that will help you to continue onwards. So with all the kelim that you have, all the svarim available, all the avodah that you can do now, and not to feel it extreme, but do it because now is the best time. As a Bachur, I had no pressure, so I had a full Breslov schedule. I was able to go to bed early, to wake up for Chatzot. I don't know about you guys, but to get up at midnight, and I did the whole deal. The 2-hour thing, the Tikkun Chatzot, Hitbodedut, Gan Eden time. People who have never tasted Chatzot, they have no idea what's out there. But if you have this zchut, not to stay up until midnight, but to go to bed early and to wake up for Chatzot, and then to do davening and learning, you will see it's a different ball game. Rav Chaim Vital himself writes that. Rav Chaim Vital writes that learning Torah after midnight is like 1,000 times greater than learning Torah during the day. And then learning Torah on a Friday night after midnight is like 10,000 times greater than learning Torah on Shabbos day, which is like 5,000 times greater than learning Torah during the week, okay? So it was, as a Bachur, you should take advantage to taste it instead of waiting, okay, get married, and now I have to take my wife out, and I have to change the diapers, and all these things, and then you don't have time to discover it. Discover these things while you're still a Bachur. Taste what's out there. Don't feel it being extreme, because anyways, you're a Bachur. Anyways, you're just I call, in Hebrew we say plug goof. Plug goof means the guy who's half. Plug goof. So I call Bachurim spark plug, because you're a plug goof. Plug means you're half, but plug is spark plug. The guy who's a Bachur, he's just a spark plug. He's half anyways. But to taste what's out there, taste what's in Breslov. There is so much out there. You have no idea. But this thing of Chatzot is something that if you don't do it now, then when are you going to do it? If you're not going to taste it before you get married, then when are you going to taste it? B'ezrat Hashem. So this is something really powerful to take advantage. If you're in a Breslov scheduled yeshiva, where there's flexibility to do Rabbeinu's Eitzot, you guys at Baruch Hashem, I heard you guys have time to do Bodedut every day. That's amazing. Amazing. But to fit in, getting up early in the morning, being on time, putting in more davening learning, especially the winter nights. The winter nights, Rav Pinchas of Koretz, he would call the winter nights the Gildene Nacht, the golden nights, because the nights are so long, so there's enough time, ample time, to get up early and to have a long night before Shacharis even. You can do mikveh, hitbodedut, everything, pack it in, and by the time you're davening Shacharis, you're already filled up your day already. So by the time you Shacharis, it's like the end of the day. The Baal Shem Tov said once, to make your days into nights, and your nights into days in order to be zocheh to get up for midnight. It's not easy because you have to make up your sleep. You're not full sleep. I need my full sleep. I need my 6 hours, whatever. Some guys, they're like this. The Ben Ish Chai gives a rule. He says, if now you sleep less than 6 hours because you tried to get up at midnight, you will feel as if you slept 6 to 8 hours. You will feel it. You won't feel a diminishment in it. You shouldn't play games, obviously, to sleep 1-2 hours a day. But if a person got 4 or 5 hours of sleep and then he has to make up in the morning, so you have your 6 hours there, 7 hours there, it's great. It's Gan Eden. But to taste this. This is something that people have never experienced in their life. it's a closeness to Hashem that's not any other time of the day except for after midnight. So it's a big thing. So as a Bachur, I hope I'm not going too extreme, but as a Bachur, take advantage of tasting chatzot because this is the golden time. This is the time of your life that you can do this. Because afterwards, all these restrictions, at least if you've done it before you get married, so then after marriage, you know about it, and you will work to try to build that in to the daily schedule. B'ezrat Hashem. All right?
What would you say?
Yes, sir.
Chatzos versus coming to yeshiva and seder on time.
To do both.
You need to do
You
both.
know, it can't be on cheshbon. Yeah. You see, in these instances, you have to be smart. You have to know when. First of all, your body has to get adapted to this. It takes time. It's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of trial and error. But like, for example, morning break to go sleep. After lunch, go sleep. That's what I did, by the way. I did that when I was in yeshiva here, at Breslover yeshiva in Yerushalayim. So I took advantage of making up for the sleeping that I didn't necessarily have at nighttime because I got up at midnight. So, but not to tamper, not to dent even a little bit by the daily schedule. But of course, if the daily schedule starts at 10 in the morning, you have like till 10 in the morning to make up for if you do wake up at midnight. It's something it's manageable. It is manageable, B'ezrat Hashem. So that's something that, yeah.
So what is like the actual, what is it that you recommend like the seder for waking up at midnight? You mentioned like 2 hours. Like
Yeah, okay. Okay, normally in the Breslover yeshivas I was at, I assume here it's also, you have a night seder. But the night seder in the Breslover yeshiva is not like the other yeshivas. The yeshiva night seder till like 10 p.m. I hope it's not here by 10 p.m. He's on till 10 p.m.
So the exploration program does not really have a night seder.
Great.
The Living Torah program has night seder till 9, 9:30.
Okay.
Quarter to 10.
Chatzot now is at around 11. Chatzot. Halachik. But we should go to Chatzot. Rabbi Nachman, the beauty about Breslov is that Rabbi Nachman doesn't get involved in what you're doing. He gets involved in how you're doing what you're doing, which means there's no minhagim in Breslov. That's the beauty about Breslov. There's no, okay, in Breslov we do like this, we do like that. No. You can be a Sephardi Breslover, an Ashkenazi, a Karlebach, a Litvish Breslover, a Parki Breslover, okay? You can be all types of Breslovers, okay? The one place Rabbi Nachman put his foot down in halacha, he says in the opinion of what time is halachic midnight. There's two opinions. One, both are based in the Kabbalah, by the way. Both are brought down in the Kabbalah. Whatever is halachic noon chatzot yom is automatically chatzot laila. So if noon now is 11:32, so midnight is 11:32. But Rabbi Nachman has a different shita, which is the shita of the Magen Avraham and the Zohar, that whenever it is nightfall, you count 6 full hours from that point. So if nightfall now is at 5:32, so you count 6 hours, it'll be 11:32. Now it's earlier. Now it's 5:01. Pardon?
What if that's after sunrise?
So because of that, in summer nights, there are places in the world where there's no midnight. So in that case, Rabbi Nachman says when there's no midnight, the main thing is to get up early, to wake up Ashkamat HaBoker. In the summer nights, it's very difficult. There's some places, Israel is not that problem, but places like England and the Ukraine, they count 6 hours from nightfall, it's already morning. That's in the summer. That's why we said earlier, the best nights for Chatzot are the winter nights. This time, Cheshvan, Kislev, Tevet, Shvat, where the nights are long and good and chunky. Okay? Now you can fit in a lot of Avodat Hashem after midnight.
6 halachic hours?
60-minute hours. 60-minute times 6. 6 hours of 60 minutes. So it's 5:01
From States, you mean?
from Tzedek Kochavim. If you're a Hasidic guy, it's Rabbeinu Tam, it's later. The Hasidic guys who do Marv after Rabbeinu Tam, 72 minutes, so that's when they would count their 6 hours. It's based on how you hold personally on what time is your Tzedek Kochavim that you normally daven Marv from that point as lechatchila, okay? So yeah, it's a big thing to put in chatzot, especially if you're a bachur, because again, like I said, if not now, when? What was the thing you asked though? I don't want to gun off. He was
Schedule?
yes.
Like when you get up for chatzot, you say tikkun chatzot in the morning.
Okay, fine. Each person is different. There's no rules. Okay, you can do as you wish. The Arizal set down to say, as soon as you can, chatzot, tikkun chatzot. Some people I know have a hard time doing that because they're like they woke up like, oh my god, they need like 4 coffees to wake up still. So some people I know, they like read Hasidic stories, they put on some music. Some people go to the mikveh already at midnight if they have an open mikveh, right? It's up to you. The main thing is you're doing stuff that make you feel connected to Hashem, you feel good about it, okay?
Is
Some
there
people,
like a certain amount of time that it's most effective?
yes. So Rabbi Nachman said the chatzot lasts for 2 full hours. So from midnight, let's say midnight is 11:01, so you have till 12:01 101, the gates are opened for everything. If you need to daven for something in life, the best time would be in those 2 hours. What many people do, because they can't. So many people can't stay up that long. So people, they stay up, they get up for chatzot, they do their little jig, and then they go back to sleep, and they wake up for nets. Other people though, they're so energetic. I think I'm one of those guys that I stay up to nets. You can take the whole avodah from midnight and go right into shacharis, and it's full fire. Yes, sir.
Is this only if you go to sleep or wake up? What if
That's
you
the thing now. Rabbi Nachman said, the main thing is to get up for chatzot, not to stay up.
Why?
Because he says breaking the sleep has a big thing in activating the power of midnight. The power of midnight is from the darkness getting the light. When you go to sleep, you're going into 1/60th of death. You're going into darkness mode. That you're just now recharging your body now. You're not there. You're not conscious. It's a time of darkness. Okay, and you now are sleeping at that time, so you're now in the essence of the darkness. When from that you wake up, then you're activating the chatzot as it should be. Rav Gedai Koenig writes in a letter. So, of course, Ura Chavodi, Ura Anevel Vechinot. He slept for half an hour and wake up at midnight. He would have a harp. The famous Gemara. Yeah, he would sleep. David Melech is David Melech. He would sleep 30 minutes, and that was enough for him. Us, we need to sleep more than 30 minutes. Okay, we need 6 hours.
Can I just go to sleep for 30 minutes, wake up, and go back to sleep?
You wake up and do what? You wake up, stay an hour?
Learn for an hour and go back to sleep.
Why not? Sure. Again, do as you feel is right. But know that this is a gold mine. Those 2 hours from midnight are a gold mine. And again, you're a Bachur now. Take advantage now because afterwards it's going to be hard. It's very simple, okay? Yes?
So you're not suggesting for us to make us our full-time schedule, but like to try it a few times for a week, a few weeks or something?
Some people, they try to do chatzot once a month. Some do it once every 2 weeks, once a week. Some people do it every day, every second day. But it's good to again, even in this, gradually to get into it. Not to go full force, but because we know already, when you go into something full force, you crash afterwards. We know that already. That's a rule of life. To taste it, to pick a night, maybe Erev Rosh Chodesh, or a Friday night. Friday night is very hard because people like, schmoozing and munching and, Oneg Shabbos. It's Yetzer Hara not to go to bed early by most teenagers, young guys. But if you can train yourself to go to bed right after Marv, and the yeshiva that I was in, that was the thing I wanted to mention in the beginning. The yeshiva that I was in, the Breslover yeshiva that I was in, the night schedule finished early. Like let's say in the winter time, we had the night seder finished at 6:30, 6:37. That was amazing. And we had supper. Right after supper, I would be in bed already. And the guys in the room were playing music and this, so I had to put their earphones, earplugs, so that I couldn't be distracted and I could have like a good 3 hours. Sometimes I couldn't get to sleep because the guys were making so much noise. So they don't care about getting up midnight, whatever. I did. I wanted to. So I had to do the airplane, the eye coverings and the earplugs because the guys were loud and rowdy, whatever. But I got at least 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep. Got up. I walked to the kotel every night. That was amazing. I would get up, go to the mikveh. I had Gan Eden. I'm telling you, Hashem was good to me. I woke up at midnight. I would quickly say the Birkat Torah. Sfardim, we'd already Birkat Shachar from midnight. And then go to the mikveh. There was an open mikveh. I said Tikka Chatzot. Go to the mikveh, walk to the kotel, and do my 5-minute request while he'd do it all the way to the kotel and then back. So I counted that as like an hour. And then just Hashem, help me find my zivug, my sherbet. I'm find my sherbet at midnight, okay? Midnight by the kotel asking for sherbet. What more can you want, man? Okay? It was great. And Baruch Hashem, 40 days of that. And Baruch Hashem, things
You would be
moved.
on 2 hours of sleep.
No. So then, after Shacharit, because like the morning schedule also started like 9, 10 o'clock. So I'll go right to bed to make up. And then, so again, the body has to get used to it. You're going to be sometimes drowsy. And if you're drowsy, so that means you're not fit for it yet. You have to develop it. Maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, but go into it slowly. But once you've tasted it, you'll see for yourself. This is a different ball game. This is a different Breslov. It's a different connection to God. It's a different Idbodedut. Chatzot is something big. They say in Breslov, I'll get to your question soon. Layudim haita ora v'simcha. Ora v'simcha is the whole devotions in Breslov. Ora is Uman Rosh Hashanah, that's Ora. Simcha is Shin, Sin, Shulchan Aruch, to learn Halach every day. Mem, Mikveh. Chet chatzot, hey hitbodedut. Ora v'simcha. Okay, that's the key. Simcha, Shulchan Aruch, like sin. I grew up Moroccan. Moroccans, they have a problem with pronunciation of shin sin. So I grew up in my shul every morning. Kol ha'sonei halachot bechol yom, muftach lo shehu ben olam haba. You know, before Tanat ve'Eliyahu, before Aleinu, kol ha'sonei halachot bechol. Everyone who hates halacha every day. Everyone who hates. Instead of shoneh, they would say, the old Moroccans, they would say, kol ha'sonei, soneh, like instead of shoneh. All right? So, what we're saying? Shulchan Aruch, mikveh, chatzot, hitbodedut. Ora uman Rosh Hashanah. Layudim hayta ora v'simcha. They would say that in Breslov, yeah.
What about Nate's?
Yeah, nets is a priority. It is a priority, it's true. Again, yeah, this is something that you have to trial and error. You have to test out and see. It would make sense to get up nets, yeah. But I know some people, they get up chatzot and they don't do nets. So again, you have flexibility. Another thing is mikveh. Mikveh. When do you go to the mikveh? Okay? Rav Yisrael Meir Brenner, he's one of the Breslov elders today. He asked the following question to two Breslov elders, Rav Yitzhak Bender and Rav Shmuel Shapiro. He asked him like this: what happens if I wake up late in the morning and I don't have time to go to the mikveh before davening nets? Should I, or A, skip the mikveh and go daven nets, or go to the mikveh, miss nets, and daven shacharit later? So Rav Yitzhak Bender, like his name, Levi Yitzhak, he was very tough. Levi is the left side, and Yitzhak also is Gvurot. So he was like a real tough guy. So Rav Yitzhak Bender said, what's the problem? Get up on time, go to the mikveh, and daven nets. Okay? Rav Shmuel Shapiro, he said, was more practical. Rav Shmuel Shapiro was more mitziuti. That's his wording. It was more practical. He said, what, there's only nets? There's only nets as a Jew? You daven after nets, and you're not allowed to daven after nets? If you wake up late, go to the mikveh and daven later. Okay, but mikveh should be before davening. Because mikveh, why go to the mikveh during the day? In Breslov, we make a big deal going to the mikveh every day. Rabbeinu spoke about, Chas V'Shalom, person has an emission. On that day, make sure you flip the world to go to the mikveh. But in Breslov, and also all Hasidic communities and the Sephardic ones, there's a need to go to the mikveh every day. Just a story on the side. I don't hope I get sidetracked. I always forget. So remind me where I'm holding, okay? There's a story of Rav Isser Zalman Meltzer, who was the big Slabotka Litvish rabbi in the yeshivas in the world, and he moved to Eretz Yisrael. He opened the Etz Chaim Yeshiva in Yerushalayim. When he came, like in the 1910s, 1920s, I forgot when he came to Yerushalayim, and he found out that the chief rabbi of Yerushalayim, Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, who wasn't Hasidic, he was from the Pressburg yeshivas in Czechoslovakia, and he found out that he's going to the mikveh every day like the Hasidim, so he got a bit upset. He said, what, you, the chief rabbi of Yerushalayim, you're doing this Hasidic minhag of going to the mikveh every day? So Rav Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld answered to him like this. He said, listen, just think about it. If a mikveh can transform a goy into a Jew, then just imagine what it can do to a Jew himself. Okay? He accepted the svara, and the saying goes that he started going to the mikveh every day also, Rav Yosef Zalman Meltzer, because he accepted the svara, okay? So I went off. Huh?
What's a svarda?
Svara means, how do you say translate svara in English? No, the reasoning. Thank you very much. The reasoning, the svara. Okay, the svara. Okay. So I went off. I told you I forget. Where were we holding? Okay. So mikveh, we go in Breslov. There's a big thing to go to mikveh every day. Why? Because Rav Nosson said that mikveh shares the same root as the word for hope, tikva. And where does he show it from? From a pasuk in the book of Ezra and Nehemiah, that when the Jews intermarried in Bavel, and Ezra wanted to bring the Jews back to Eretz Yisrael for the second temple, okay? The Jews in Bavel intermarried. They married Goyot. And they felt so like detached. And Ezra was telling the Jews, come back to Eretz Yisrael. Come with me. They said, how could we come back? Look how low we've fallen. We married Goyot. Our children are Goyim. What? So they said, Hayesh mikveh? The pasuk says, is there hope? So Rav Nosson asks, 1 second. You want to say hope, so the proper way to say hope is tikva, with a tav, not with a mem. But the pasuk says with a mem, mikveh, hayesh mikveh. So Rav Nosson points out the connection between the terminology of mikveh with hope. Even though mikveh means, the literal translation of mikveh means yikavu hamayim, a gathering of water. The kavot, water is gathered in. But Rav Nosson points out from this pasuk that he used mikveh instead of tikveh, that's a sign that mikveh gives hope. So Rav Nosson said once, very powerful statement, and it's in the Kutei Halachot in a few places, is that if a person could be as low as he is, but if he's consistent in going to the mikveh, Rav Nosson's wording, it's not me, he's guaranteed to come out of everything. All the schmutz that he's stuck in his life, he could be doing all these crazy things, chas v'shalom, and he regrets it and he's off the path. But if he's consistent in going to the mikveh, he will come out. That's Rav Nosson's wording. That's why mikveh is so, you're not the same person. You go in, you come out, you're a different person. You are a different person. So again, it's a preparation for davening. You're putting on your tefillin on a body that's gone to the mikveh already. It's unbelievable. It's a different person. It's a different entity. All right? You had something to ask, you say?
Yeah. If you're up exactly at the Nikudah Hatzot,
Yeah.
what's the first devote you should do?
Again, each person is, that's why I said, each person is different. I knew a Breslov elder, Rabbi Michael Dorfman, alav shalom. He had the key to the mikveh next to his house, the Satman mikveh, down the street. He would go to the mikveh, it would wake up a little bit before midnight, and go right to the mikveh, and then be back home for Chatzot Laila, for the Avodah. Some people it's different. Like I said, some people they're tired, they need some music, they need 4 coffees, they need stories of tzaddikim. Each one is different. Some people, they already have the strength. They say, no, the main thing is the point of Chatzot Laila, and they go straight into Birkat HaShachar, or if you're Sephardi, Birkat HaTorah, Birkat HaShachar, and right into Chatzot. For me personally, I can't do that. I need a preface to saying Chatzot, so I read some stuff, say some davening and that, and I get into that B'ezrat Hashem. Each one is different, okay? But know those 2 hours, the gates are open B'ezrat Hashem. Even if you wake up after, like you missed the point of Chatzot, and you have like 5 minutes left, so realize that 5 minutes, the doors are open. Whatever you're doing now is like really, really high stuff, B'ezrat Hashem. To daven for people, to daven for yourself, you do it. Yes, sir.
What are you meant to learn during Chatzot? Is there something?
Anything you want, anything, whatever makes you feel connected to Hashem, whatever you enjoy and makes you feel good. Rav Nosson himself, we know about him that he would learn Tur Beit Yosef. He would learn Tur Beit Yosef in the winter nights where it's long, but he would stay up from midnight till Shacharit. So he would learn Tur Beit Yosef. Each one is different. It's Avram Greenbaum. He wrote a book called The Sweetest Hour. You should use that as a guideline. That book is amazing because it has everything. It has all the halachas of Chatzot. Okay, he says there, some people like to learn Chassidut, some people like to learn Gemara, because Rabbeinu spoke about learning Gemara at night. And the Rambam says the nights were created to learn Torah. So the Kaf HaChaim explains the Rambam that when they say that the nights were created to learn Torah, it means specifically after midnight. You hear that? The Yeshiva world, they explain it also as the beginning of the night, because the night is really, it's true. At nighttime your head is much clearer. So the Kaf HaChaim writes, it's much, much clearer after midnight to learn Gemara, to learn Mishnayot, to learn Halacha. Again, but it's up to you in the end. At the end of the day, you decide your schedule, because they're not forcing you. There are kolelim, where there's chatzot kolelim, but they force them to learn what they have to learn. They have their daf yomi, okay? But if you're a bachur, no one's on you, so you can learn what you want. The best things that you want to learn that connect you to the most level. We're okay? Oh yeah, I see.
When you were on your strict diet before you were learning Gemara,
Yeah.
that included Mishnah?
Of course. Yeah. Chumash Rashi, Mishnayot, Halacha, and even the Breslover Sfarim, my Rav says you don't learn the Kutei Moran alone. He said even with Chaim Kramer's translation and notes, don't learn the Kutei Moran alone. He said just learn the basic Breslover books, Rabbi Nachman's Wisdom, Tzaddik, the Aleph Bet book, Rabbi Nachman's Stories, those basic books. I said we learned the Kutei Moran together. I cheated, of course. I didn't listen. I was so on fire to learn Breslover and all these books are in English and I can't learn it. Come on, it was like a killer. So I did cheat. I did learn the Kutei Moran. Not listening to my rabbi, whatever. I'm sorry, but yeah. When you start off basics, then you can build. Once I was walking Rav Michael Dorfman home. I was zocher to know him for 10 years. He passed away at the age of 93, 94. I got the zchut of knowing him from his age 83 to 93, or 84 to 94. So a bulk of those years, maybe 6 or 7 years, I had the merit of walking him home every Shabbos morning. We would daven together nets in the Breslov Shul in Mea Shearim. And if you know how Breslov Minyan works, right after davening, they dance. They say Tikkun HaKlali together. It's once a week to say Tikkun HaKlali together is a big thing. And then Kiddush, and we would learn together Rabbi Nachman's stories. And he would just read the stories in Yiddish. He wouldn't explain, no nothing. Just read the stories, and he had a quota every year to finish the book. So he would read. Sometimes he would put in some insights here. He wouldn't talk that much. Just read Rabbi Nachman's words, as if to say it should be enough for you. It should be enough. Without commentary, that should be enough to fill you up, even subconsciously. But when we walk home, he would say amazing stuff. And his closest followers or closest people who were close to him were around him, and then he would feel comfortable to speak openly about what's going on in Breslov, if there was any politics, just to give a clear view. So once there was a Litvish Bachur who was a guest by one of the people there, and he asked Rav Michael Dorfman, I want a bracha for learning Hasmada. I want a bracha for Hatmada and learning Torah. So Rav Michael said, I'm going to give you a bracha to have Tmimut and Pshitut, simplicity and straightforwardness. Because when you have the cup, the basis of simplicity and straightforwardness, you can afterwards put in that everything, Gemara, Poskim. The bracha of learning will come if you have a strong basis, a solid foundation of having a simple, straightforward, honest approach in learning Torah and serving Hashem. That's the best cup to give you a Yiddish cup. Okay, that's the best cup for everything else, is when you have Tmimut and Pshitut, then you can put everything in. The guy won't be sidetracked, like in the story of the Chacham and the Tam, if you know the story of the simpleton and the sophisticate, that the king was impressed with the simpleton. He knows so much, he knows wisdoms, he knows sciences, and yet he maintains his simple approach. He was so, wow, that is so amazing. Someone could be so simple, and yet he knows all the wisdoms of the world, and it doesn't sidetrack him. He made him to be the minister of all the ministers. And that's what Rabbeinu wants to get to us. If you have a strong, solid foundation in being simple and straightforward, afterwards you can put in everything in that, and you won't budge from your emunah. Because most people, when they start becoming, very learned, I'm a big Talmid Chacham, I'm a Rosh Yeshiva, unfortunately it eats away at their emunah. They don't have any more of that simplicity that the other simple guys do. The guy who's a davener, so the guy who became now a big Talmid Chacham, it chips away at his devotions. He doesn't have that. So Rabbeinu is saying, have the balance. Learn Torah, become one of the biggest Gedolei Yisrael, but not at the expense of losing your simple devotions and serving Hashem. To be able to have that connection. It's two opposites, yes, but it's possible to have them together. If you work a lot on simple devotions, then it's a cup for all the Torah and everything, and it won't get you sidetracked. We're good?
Can you give an example of a simple devotion?
Yeah. Going to the mikveh every day, davening the words out loud. The halacha says that when we say Psukei de Zimra, you should say them like you're counting coins. Okay? So normally we say guys davening Baruch Shamar Vayolam. He's a nobody. He's missing some screws. He's a nobody. This guy. Who's this guy davening? Modeani lefanecha. Okay, someone who can do that, and yet he can finish Shas every year, and he's a big gaon. That's the chidush. And Breslover, there were people like that.
Where does it say that you're supposed to do that?
And look at the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch and the Shulchan Aruch. It says when reading Psukei de Zimra of Shacharit, you should say the words like as if you're counting coins. Every word is precious. Psukei de Zimra, it's a kemoneh matbeot. That's the wording of Chazal. The wording of Chazal, and it's in the Shulchan Aruch, as you should say Psukei de Zimra. I was in America now, and it's so hard to be a davener there. They finish like, hallelujah, hallelujah. I can't catch up. They're davening so fast. Everywhere I went, and they told me this is a slow minyan. They're slow minyan. I can't catch up. In normal Breslov minyanim, by the way, again, in Breslov there's no rules, but there's, again, Rabbi Nachman is how you're doing it. Not what, how. How do you daven? So Breslov minyanim, Baruch Hashem, on a regular weekday, Hodu is half an hour before the Shmoneh Esrei. Okay? That's amazing. On Shabbos, an hour before Shmoneh Esrei. Okay? Other places, we start like 25 minutes before, on a Shabbos morning. And then Shachwez, they start Hodu about like 15 minutes before the Shmoneh Esrei. How do they get there so fast? How do you say the words so fast? How do you get it? I don't know. So to be able to say, I'm going to fight for my simplicity, I'm not going to chip and at the expense of just being a gaon, a Talmid Chacham, or to do my daf yomi. People say, I have to get to my daf shir, so I have to daven fast to get to my daf shir. That's a lack of simplicity. Say, this is not going to be lost at the cheshbon of my learning Torah. I maintain my simple devotions, and I don't let me becoming advanced in Torah chip at those simple devotions. That's an example. So many questions. Can I know that? Yeah. Can I answer him first? Or let me answer him first, because I didn't ask it. Yeah.
Yeah, where in the Kutei Halacha does there talk about the mikvah?
The big hot spot, he speaks many places. First of all, you should know there's an index to all of the Kutei Halachot, which is so hard to get because it's out of print. And chaval, it's chaval because people are asking so many good questions and they don't know where to look. So if you ever have a chance to go to old Breslov bookstores or people who didn't want their Breslov books anymore, there was an index called the Nofet Tzufim, 4 volumes, put out by a big, giant Torah scholar in Breslov, Rav Nosson Tzvi Koenig. And if you look under mikveh, he sends you to every place. Rav Nosson talks about mikveh. However, the highlight of mikveh is in what's called Hilchot Hechsher Kelim Halacha Dalit. That's in the section Yoreh De'ah. It's based on lesson 66. Rav Nosson goes deep, powerful, power-packed words on the power of the mikveh there. That's one place. Another place, I have to remember where. There's a few more places. Take a look also at the back of Through Fire and Water, the gems of Rav Nosson. I think there you have a chapter called the mikveh, and what Rav Nosson said about the mikveh, but from other books also, not from the Likutei Halachot, also from a book called Kochvei Or, Siach Safei Kodesh, Tovot Zichronot. Okay,
Say from Midos there is a section of mikvah?
yeah, but it's not enough. There's more. If you use the new edition by Rav Atiyah called the Sefer Midot HaMevuar, in his biur, he brings from all the other Breslov books anything associated with this little line on mikveh in there. He'll bring in other stuff also. Yes, so you can use that as a reference, but it's not everything. Okay, there's so much in Breslov. You guys don't have no idea what you guys got yourselves into. You have no idea. And once you're in, you can't go out anymore. I'm sorry to tell you guys. Once you've tasted the Hungarian wine, it's called the Hungarian wine.
Not in a bad way.
Well, no. In other words, if you try to leave, Rabbi Nachman says, anybody who touches me with their pinky, I won't leave that person until they're totally rectified. So the people in their lifetimes who tried to leave Breslov because they fell off, they're always being pursued. Rabbi Nachman doesn't leave them alone. They're trying, leave me alone. Let me be like a goy. Let me be like nobody. No, I won't let you go now. You touched, it's a deal. It's a two-way deal. You made the commitment, I make the commitment, and that's it. You're mine. That's it. You're in. What did I give myself? I met a guy once in Meron. I fought a guy. These Muncie guys, you know, the tuna bagel? I don't know what they're called. Tuna fish. He was Hasidic. He davens buri chatu, but he dresses like, you know, the polo shirt, the t-shirt, the cut, you know, the nice whatever. And he was there davening with his family, summer vacation with the family by Rabbi Shimon, by in Eretz Yisrael. He came to Meron. And he told me, I'm scared to get into Breslov because I know it's a commitment. That once you're in, you can't get out. That's it. He told me that. He said, and he knew that because once you're in, you've tasted such a high level of emet because Rabbi Nachman is the maximum. He's the he pushes you to the maximum, your potential. So anything under is like you're fooling yourself. That's the thing about Breslov. Once you're in, you know anything else underneath is just fooling yourself. You're playing and he doesn't, the subconscious, he doesn't let you fool yourself. It's going to be plaguing you for the rest of your life if you try to leave. So you're stuck, okay? You're stuck, guys, in Breslov. Sorry to tell you. That's it. You're in, okay? And so you had something to say. You wanted to say something, yeah?
Yeah, just about the chatzot.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, do tikkun chatzot, tikkun mikvah, whatever, but then I'm assuming the rest of that 2 hours would be good to do, better do it for an hour during that time.
Each person,
Versus Torah.
it's up to you.
Okay.
It's up to you. Davening, it's et ratzon. It's called Rav. It's et ratzon. The Shabbos the week has what's called Ra'ava de Ra'avin, the Ratzon of Ratzon, which is Shabbos Mincha, Shabbos afternoon, and the rest of the week has Ratzon time, which is Halachic midnight. Those 2 hours is power packed. So now you do what you think is the best. Some people feel that I need a boost of learning Torah because I'm so weak. If I try to learn at the time of Ratzon, maybe it'll change my Torah study. So again, for that person who say I would rather do learning Gemara in that time than doing it, what to do. Another person say, no, I'm such a weak connection in Hashem in my davening. Let me use it at that time. And again, go slowly, once a month, once every 2 weeks, but try it, and you'll see it's unbelievable. And also another thing, places like Uman and Meron, they're boosted to help you to get up at Chatzot. If you have a zchut, for example, spending Shabbos in Uman, Shabbos in Meron, or on a weekday, to take advantage of the time. Get up at midnight, you will feel the energy multiplied like by a million, and you will feel full from it. You feel amazing connection to Hashem, and you take something away with you from that experience, B'ezrat Hashem. Yes, sir. It doesn't end the questions. It doesn't end. Here's also one. He's the first time, Mordechai is asking a question. Okay. Yeah, Morty. They call you Morty. Yeah.
I have 2 questions, so maybe I'll ask one at a time. But I struggle a lot with Hidbodedut. For me, even 1 second of Hidbodedut is...
Right, I agree. I'm with you on the same page. I'm on
What
the page
advice
with
do you have?
The advice for Hidbodedut is to use Rav Noson's crutch to help you do Hidbodedut. Rav Noson's crutch is Likutei Tfilot. There's no book in the world, I'm telling you the truth, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, there's no book in the world like Likutei Tfilot. Even Likutei Moran doesn't match Likutei Tfilot. Proof to that is what Rav Nosson once said. Rav Nosson once said, for every day that a person who knows these prayers doesn't say them, he's going to have to give a din v'cheshbon, an accounting for every day you don't say those prayers. He didn't say that for every day that you don't learn the Likutei Moran, you're going to have to, he didn't say that. He said about the Likutei Tfilot. If you go to jail, Chas Shalom, they say you can bring in one book. Which book do you bring in? One Breslover book. You bring in Likutei Tfilot. Okay? Likutei Tfilot is the practical application of Likutei Moran. More than this, because Rav Nosson wrote them from the 50th gate. You know how Rav Nosson wrote the prayers? He would learn the lesson in Likutei Moran, and then he would take a quill with the ink, and he would just look up and start crying, and the words came by themselves. This is the Breslover tradition. That's how Rav Nosson wrote Likutei Tfilot. And he said himself, people make fun of these prayers. The Misnagdim were making fun of these prayers. They made fun of Rav Nosson, because Rav Nosson says in his prayers, Ten li emunah, give me faith. So the Misnagdim would say about Rav Nosson, he doesn't have emunah. He's asking for emunah, so he's a heretic. He doesn't have emunah. So Rav Nosson said, they make fun of these prayers. These prayers, they said, the Misnagdim, his prayers don't contain Ruach HaKodesh. How could someone write prayers today? Because the Arizal said, no one today who writes prayers has Ruach HaKodesh. The Arizal, for example, was very against saying Yigdal. He said the author of Yigdal didn't have Ruach HaKodesh.
From the church, is what he said.
What did he say?
He said it was written in the style of the church or something.
Thank you. I'm happy you have the analytical knowledge of that. That's amazing. I wish I knew that. I didn't see it inside. So, Rav Nosson said they make fun of these prayers, that they don't have Ruach HaKodesh. They're above Ruach HaKodesh. They come from the 50th level. Proof to that is that you open anywhere in the prayers and you see exactly what you're going through in life. It's crazy. So, Rav Shmuel Shapira would say, you can use Likutei Tfilot to get your motor running. You feel like you're dead, you have no words, open Likutei Tfilot, and then that gets your heart opened up because he's explaining you better than you. Rav Nosson, most of the time, he's explaining what you're going through better than you can in your own words. Like the expression, you took the words right out of my mouth. Rav Nosson does that. Okay? And then you're motivated, then you can do Hidbodedut. That's what I do, by the way. I do that. I can't do Hidbodedut without Likutei Tfilot. That's how I am. The other people, they can go to the forest, and they know nothing. They just go in and they can do 1 hour like that. How do they do it? I don't know. I'm not like that. I need something to really get me awake, and that's Rav Nosson's prayers. That's what they do. They do the job. Baruch Hashem.
I have another question. It's a little bit spicy. I don't know if I should ask.
Very spicy. Curdy. What's up, Curdy?
I know Rav Koenig is heavily against Techelet. I had a pair of Techelet. I
Right.
spent Shabbat in Sfat.
Right.
And the host where I was staying said that Rav Koenig told him to
Yeah.
tell me to get rid of them.
We're okay with time, by the way. It's okay. Order. Okay.
What do you
Yeah.
know why he's against it? Do you know what
In
the-
Breslev,
what
there are
reasons that
many
he-
opinions about the Tcheletz. Okay, there's a few camps of different opinions.
Yeah.
In Maine, it's two different opinions. The Cherner Rav, who was a student of Rav Nosson, and Rav Avraham ben Rav Nachman, who was a student of his father, Rav Nachman Tulchiner, who was another disciple of Rav Nosson. Okay, they have two opinions. Rav Avraham ben Rav Nachman claims that Rabbi Nachman revealed in the secrets before Mashiach comes that the Tchelet will be revealed in a specific year. And this guy's going to correct me. Tarma. Tarma is when the Redziner Rebbe revealed the Tchelet. Would you know?
I don't know any.
What happened? You know about the church Yigdal. I thought for sure. Okay, the Radziner Rebbe was someone who claimed to rediscover the Tchelet, and he wrote 3 books proving that the squid, fish, whatever that he found in the biggest Mediterranean aquarium in Italy, this matches all the opinions of all the different opinions. There's one type of creature that matches every one of them, and he wrote 3 books. And he faced major opposition. And Avraham ben Nachman met him once, and he told him, they're killing me with this opposition. So he said, I have a bigger proof than you that this is the real Tchelet, because Rabbi Nachman said that in this year, it'll be revealed. Okay? That's the one camp. The Cherner Rav, who was a big Torah scholar. Okay? Not a joke at all. Was one of Rav Nosson's greatest students. He wrote tons of Sfarim. He said, we have no source, not in the Torah, not in the Nevi'im, not in the Ketuvim, that the Tchelet will be revealed before Mashiach comes. And he found a proof in Rav Noson's prayer on lesson 49, Rabbi Nachman talks about the tchelet in lesson 49, and in prayer 49, he found wording in Rav Noson's wording that from here you see how he's saying it, it will not be revealed before Mashiach comes, okay? So these are the two camps in Breslov, and the Rav Koenig group, obviously, the students of Rav Avram Sternatz. Gedai Koenig was a student of Rav Avram Sternatz, student of the Cherner Rav. They have that strong opinion that this is not the real tchelet. There's even a story that someone once brought the Cherner Rav. He was alive at the time. The Redzino tchelet, and he just threw it out the window. He said, no way, and threw it out the window, okay? They're vehemently opposed. And then there's a second camp of students of Rabbi Nachman. Many of the Polish Hasidim, you see Ari Kaplan's book, Tzitzit, A Thread of Light, the NCSY publication of Tzitzit, the small book. So he dedicates the last chapter about the Tchelet. He talks about the Redziner Rebbe and how the Breslover Hasidim in Poland would wear the Redziner Tchelet, based on this statement of Rabbi Nachman. He doesn't say that there, but that was the idea. So again, you have different opinions. Again, to be Breslev doesn't mean, okay, we're Tchelet. The people have the stereotype, oh, he's Breslever, so here's the white Nanach Kippah. I'm very stereotype. I have a white Kippah and Tchelet, okay. But that's not, okay, so that's Breslev, and someone who doesn't do that, he's not Breslev? No. It's a personal choice. Okay, that's the beauty of Breslev. You can dress how you want as long as you're with the parameters of Shulchan Aruch, you're okay. Okay? You're in halacha, you're okay. Pace, front, behind, come on, take it easy. Do as you wish. Okay? Don't feel like that. So don't feel bad about that. There's different opinions in Breslev itself. There are those who wear white, and those who wear tchelet, and those who wear both. People do both. They wear a talit gadol like everyone else, white, and on the talit katan, they like wearing the tchelet. Okay?
Okay, so we're gonna stop here. If you have any questions.
Okay, just before we leave, can you give out a sticker to everybody? Oh, the sticker. One each, please. One Parky sticker. Magnets are expensive though. For people who sponsor
Go
breslov-therapy.
online.
If you get a donation, you gotta get a magnet.
What is Tetseu?
What? Ki besimcha tetzeu. For with joy you will leave. Tetzeu. It's a pasuk. Ki besimcha tetzeu. Yeah, the exile. But now Rabbi Nachman interprets it as to leave. Thank you very much. To leave. You have a sticker? Yeah, unplug. Yeah, for sure.
I had a few extras.
That was a good share, no? It was good, huh? We did a good job?